This is part 6 of the Craftsman 6x48 Belt Disc Sander Rebuild Series. If you haven't seen part 5, click the link at the top of the screen. In this video, we're going to be wire wheeling parts. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Starting with the pedestal base, I've got a wire wheel on my angle grinder. And as you can see, there's still a decent amount of paint on this thing. So we'll be able to remove most of it. Not all of it, but most of it. And this is kind of the way this entire video is going to go. What you'll be seeing is about 4 hours worth of work spread over 2 or 3 days. That is condensed into this 15-minute or so video. And as I remove the paint or most of it off of this base, I'm not concerned about the underside. I really don't care. It's going to get painted, but yeah, not too worried about removing the paint on the underside. So as I was working on this, I noticed that there's an imperfection on the front end of the base where there's a casting line that's present. So we're gonna attempt to remove that as well with the angle grinder. Clean it up with the file a little bit. So we're just gonna grind it down and then hit it with the file. Try to blend it a little bit. Obviously the cast iron is cast inside a sand mold, so it's got that texture to it, and we're not going to be able to replicate that real well, but that's why when you paint these things, if you use like a hammered textured paint, it covers up a lot of that kind of stuff. So then I'm going to come back with some smaller wire brushes and clean out the bores and stuff like that. Because the next step after we get all this stuff cleaned up will be to mask and paint these parts. We'll probably end up doing some fabrication before that, but yeah. So here we are with the belt table, and there's some pitting on this top part that I'm hitting with the wire brush now. And we could try cleaning that up a little bit more with some sandpaper, but it's just not worth it. I end up making stuff look worse in the long run a lot of times. So I think the sandpaper is going to have no problem sliding across that. That's not an issue. But that is a milled surface that somebody allowed water to get on and sit for quite a while to cause that pitting. Probably several years. It probably sat in a garage somewhere for several years. But yep, there are some other milled surfaces here, and we're just going to clean those up and, like I said, do a decent job with the wire wheel. So similar to the base, we're going to remove some of this paint that's on the back side, but most of it we're not going to be able to get to. A lot of it is in real tight areas there where there's those support pieces are in there, and you can only get in there so tight. So we could attempt another round of chemical paint removal, but it's just not worth it in my opinion. I think this is good enough, and once we prime it and then paint it, the paint's not going to have an issue with sticking, I don't think. I mean, a lot of people don't even go through the process of paint removal. They just paint directly over the previous coating. So that's not me, though. So I've got a variety of these wire wheels for my drill. And then I've got a bunch of bottle brushes that I use for a lot of the bores. If you've seen any of my other rebuild series, you've seen me use all this stuff before. It's not real exciting, but at least if you're new to it, you get an idea of how to do it. So all these brushes that I'm using are either brass brushes or brass coated brushes. Getting a hold of a solid brass brush is really expensive. So most of the stuff that you see online is going to be a brass coated brush. So they're usually stainless with a brass coating on them. So here we are with the base for the sander. Same thing. The paint comes off of this thing a lot better than it did on the base for the pedestal. And that angle grinder is a massive help. So if you're going to be doing more than one of these or anything similar to this, I highly recommend picking up one. Just check the amperage on it and get one with some pretty high amps. So this is where the panel normally is, the Craftsman logo panel with the model number. And there's two drive screws that are in there still that we need to knock out. And the holes for them are drilled all the way through, so we can tap them out from the backside with this punch. And I'm going to get that panel recreated in the coming weeks from my buddy Matt Blast over on the Garage Journal forum. I've got a picture of what it should look like, so we'll be able to get that done. Here I've just got the part raised up on a 2x4 so I can get that bottom lip. And there are some milled surfaces on that side facing down right now. So any of those milled surfaces, we're going to be masking those as well when we go to paint. And then we'll clean out all the bores. Now if you're using this bottle brush idea and you're cleaning out bores that are threaded, just put your drill into reverse rotation. Otherwise you could snap it off in there, and getting it out is a real pain in the butt. So this is the mount for the pedestal, and same thing. You can see that surface rust I was talking about that built back up on there. But once we've hit them with this wire wheel, they'll continue to look like this until we're ready to paint. We don't have to put any kind of protectant on there. unless you're in, you know, I mean, I'm in Georgia where we have a extremely high humidity, but my basement is, you know, doesn't have a whole lot of humidity in it. So if you're doing this outdoors or whatever, then you've got the humidity you're going to have to work with, and the possibility of the rust returning. So we're not going to be overly concerned on the inside of this part either, the bottom side of it. Clean out those bores. And this is the table. So we'll clean it up. Previous owner decided to drill holes in it and probably mount a fence or something there. I'm not sure what he was thinking, but it shouldn't impede the use of it as a table. Here I'm just using a cheap vise to hold it so I can get these edges cleaned up. Now on the bottom side of this part, I'm going to do a little bit more work. I'm really just cleaning the high areas and then all the bores that are on it and on the underside. And there's one spot that the table adjusting wedge rides on, and so we'll clean that up as well. It's not milled, which it probably should be, but yeah, it's that square there. And that's the table. And we'll head over to my bench grinder, and I've got a wire wheel on there. And this is the belt guard. And we'll clean up as much of it as we can on the grinder here, and then we'll hit it with some small wire wheels back on the table later on, probably in the next video. But this does a pretty good job of removing most of that paint. You just got to be careful how you hold stuff and how you're positioning it on that wheel, because if that wheel grabs like a lip of something, it'll yank it right out of your hands. Here is the capacitor cover. We'll be able to get all of the outside and the lip on the inside cleaned up. Get that looking nice and shiny. And this is the motor support bracket. This is an easy piece to clean up. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this video. So in the next video, we will be cleaning more stuff with wire wheels. A lot of it will be over here at the bench grinder. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you got any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. Don't forget about the owner's manuals and the links that are in the description of the video. As always, I appreciate the support, and I will see you next time.